Isn't that illegal?
After my last video showing you around my little office, some people have been wondering why I've got Spice Girls stuff all over the place, like the books and the pictures on the walls of the office. So you're probably expecting me to have some sort of dark secret, like I was a big fan of the Spice Girls or something. But it's not what you expect. And for one thing, do I look like a typical Spice Girls fan? Not really. So here's something you're probably not expecting. In the mid 1990s, to be honest, I was in a pretty bad way. I got self-esteem problems, various reasons. I've been picked on all my life for being tall, wearing glasses, looking geeky at school, you know, the usual things. But for some reason, when I got older, I wasn't able to cope with it all. I walked out of my job at the time, and I just couldn't function at all. And I was just sad and depressed all the time. But unfortunately, when you're vulnerable, that's the time when people could take advantage of you. So, but even then, if someone had come up to me and said the usual stuff about, you know, let Jesus into your life and he'll help you, I would have told them where to stick it, because, you know, they're all full of shit if they say that. So, what else are single men like me with self-esteem problems, like I had at the moment, what are they most vulnerable to? Obviously, women coming onto you is one of the things that you're vulnerable to. I'm not going to go into the details of how that happened, but basically I got into a relationship with someone, and it was great for a couple of weeks. But one of the things that seemed a bit odd was that she never wanted to see me in the daytime, not even at weekends. But you know, I didn't think much of it. Anyway, eventually she decided to tell me that she was part of a kind of charity group that helped people through tough times in their lives, and she thought I might like to be a part of it. I mean, I wasn't all that keen, because obviously I was a bit of a charity case myself, but I said I just said I'd go along because it's part of her life. I said I'd meet the people that she was friends with there, and the meeting was at this house somewhere in town. It was a bit run down, but inside there were all these chairs lined up in the living room, about half a dozen people just talking amongst themselves. You know, they all knew each other. My girlfriend told me to sit down and wait there for a bit. Everyone else sat down, they all waited. All of a sudden, she came back in wearing this long yellow costume, whatever. Sort of looked like a toga. Not a toga. Maybe a sari, something, I don't know. Some sort of robe, but anyway, something like that. And it turned out that she was like I don't know if lead is the right word, but she was the one who'd organised everything anyway. She stood in front of everyone and gave this talk about how friendship was important to people, but then she went on to say there's things in the world that were bad for society, and there was stuff that were harming the children, and that we needed to put a stop to it. I'm not explaining it very well. Even though I've written this down, it's not coming out very well, and I can't really begin to give you a sense of how compelling it was to me, because in my state of mind it was. But plus I was in a relationship with her, and like I said, I've been at a low point in my life, so I was probably a bit more susceptible to stuff like that. So in case you're wondering where the Spice Girls stuff comes in to all this, she told me after the meeting, she'd hinted at it in this little speech that she gave, that the group wanted to make a change to young people's lives and to stop all the nonsense that music and the fashions associated with it was teaching to young, impressionable kids. She thought it was robbing them of their innocence. That's what she told me.
Isn't that illegal?
Censor your kids' ideas, censor your child's inspiration, censor all that. Expect a really heavy return spring, because you know what? That kid's going to turn her on you, and you're never ever going to have a part of his life again.
Casting off the chains of the world.
But enough about me.